You're my problem. Boys, drinking, drugs. Next day, I got the hey girly DM. You need to learn from my mistakes. I butt dialed my dad while having my first kiss. I've never talked about this kind of stuff on my channel. I'm gonna be doing my makeup while talking about past boy problems. I bought like $800 worth of makeup a while back that I just wanted to try. So we're gonna be doing pretty much a full face of new makeup. I'm nervous for this video, y'all. Boyfriend, I'm nervous. Okay, no, but actually, I am nervous for this video. We're not switching it up for the brows. We're just gonna go in with the Anastasia brow pencil because that's what we know and love. I've been on the internet for a fat minute. I have never mentioned anything about my last relationship or any like guy I've talked to except like Tyler. You guys know Tyler. I don't know why, it's just like hasn't come up, but I thought it would be fun to have like some girl talk. Like, let's talk about boys. I feel like I never talk about that stuff because I'm in a relationship. Tyler knows all the tea. I tell him everything. I don't know if you guys can tell like how nervous I am because I don't do story times like about real people that like were in my life. Like, these people could see this and that makes me really uncomfortable. I have zero contact with any of these people. I do not know them as a person now. They could be a completely different person than they were back when I knew them. Now, I know you guys are little spies. Don't go and try and look for these people. Trust me when I say you're not gonna be able to find out who they are. I'm gonna have all of their names blocked in all of the comment sections so you can't comment it to let other people know who it is. If you are these people watching this, no bad blood. I got no beef with you. I'm just a YouTuber and all I got is stories of what has happened in my life, so I'm gonna use it to my advance now because all the stuff that happened to me was really shitty. I think I'm literally just gonna take you through like my past relationships. I've only had one other relationship other than Tyler. I am a long-term relationship gal. I really despise hookup culture. I am dating you to marry you. Like, if we do not see each other, no, I'm gonna cut it off. We have a few guys to talk about. Some were situationships, almost relationships, and one of them was a relationship, so buckle up. I know a lot of people had relationships in middle school. I did not. I was terrified of boys, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really get that much attention from boys. I don't know why. Maybe I was fucking ugly or something. I was just really socially awkward before high school, and also my parents, very, very protective. I wouldn't say my parents were the strictest of parents, but I did have strict parents. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm really thankful for that now because nothing bad ever happened to me growing up. Shout out parents. Baby Kaylee is in her surfer girl, LA girl era. Goes to the Vans US Open to take pictures with all the surfers. Prints out surfer girl pictures from Pinterest. Cuts them out like Polaroids and tapes them all over her wall. You get the gist. Obviously, I wanted a surfer boy boyfriend. I don't know how everybody else's high school experience was. Mine was kind of, you all get into high school and everyone's kind of in a group of who they went to middle school with, but then everyone kind of breaks off and becomes friends with a bunch of other people, and you have like your new little cliques. Everyone was kind of chill with each other at my school, but there was like certain little groups, but not like cheerleaders and jocks. Like, my school was not like that at all. Like, it was not like the movies and TV shows. I have mentioned in the past that I was on the surf team. My best friend at the time, who I now am no longer friends with at all and have no contact with, and I were on the same page. We need to get on the surf team to see all the cute surfer boys. I can't remember if it was before we joined the surf team or after we joined the surf team when I saw my ex. I saw this guy. He was blonde with curly hair, the epitome of a surfer dude, like totally laughs like you know, all of his friends were surfers and he was on the surf team. So I instantly had a crush on him. Me and my bestie did everything together. So of course we were like, I wonder if he has a friend that like you could date. And my bestie was short. And what do you know, his bestie was short too. So in our heads we're like, oh, perfect. We just got our flirt on. I don't even know what I did to flirt back then. Commenting like one emoji or like a smiley face on his Instagram post. Can we hug at the lockers after class? Super cringy shit. Might I just foreshadow? I was not allowed to date until I was like 16. Like I said, my parents were strict-ish. My mom and dad were teen parents. If you don't know, they had me at 16, 17, 18. Like my mom got pregnant at 16, had me at 17. You get the gist? So I have younger parents. Therefore, they remember everything that goes on in high school. I feel like a lot of parents that are older, I think they kind of just like forget. If you have young parents and you're watching this, you know damn well that young parents are usually more strict than older parents at certain things. Like my parents didn't give a shit if I dyed my hair. I couldn't like wear super cropped shirts or booty shorts with my ass hanging out. They were so strict about boys drinking, drugs, and hanging out with friends late at night, you know, shit like that. And I was the most boring person ever. And I'm not trying to be like, I was different. I'm not trying to be like that, but I genuinely like had no interest in going to parties and drinking and smoking, mainly because I've had panic disorder forever and I've had emetophobia my whole life. But I don't regret it. I'm happy I didn't drink or smoke or go to parties and stuff in high school, just because, I don't know, I feel like I would have regretted it, and I'm like proud of myself that I didn't. So if you're watching this and you're in high school and you don't do that shit, don't give in to the peer pressure, which honestly, there wasn't really that much peer pressure. It was more like self-pressure. I felt like I had to do those things because everybody else was doing it. But like, say someone offered me weed or alcohol and I said no, they're like, oh no, let's chill, let's chill. Like people weren't like, do it, you know you want to. We start flirting with the boys. This was literally over the span of like 6 months, and this man would not ask me out. But like, I knew he liked me, everyone knew he liked me, I liked him, everybody knew I liked him, but he just like wouldn't get the balls to ask me out. There was a homecoming in the beginning of second semester of freshman year, or around there, sorry, my timeline is kind of fuzzy, so bear with me if everything's not completely factual. I thought he was going to ask me. Everyone kind of made it sound like he was going to ask me. He didn't, but it was kind of just like a waiting game with this man. This man took so long to ask me out that his bestie and my bestie got together before me and him did. It is now February. My ex-bestie's birthday was right before mine in February. She wanted to go to Six Flags, and it was 3 girls and 3 guys. It was me, my ex-bestie, her friend, and then my ex, my bestie's man, and then another guy, so there was like an even amount of people. I did not tell my parents that guys were going, because if I did, I wouldn't have been able to go. I've talked to my mom about this now, and she was like, yeah, you wouldn't have been able to go. And I'm like, I know, that's why I lied about it. And guess what? I don't regret it, because that was really fun. I was having the time of my life. This was like one of the first times that like I went out with friends in my entire life, and it was just great. Felt like I was in a movie. We need to give this man a name. I can't say his actual name. We're gonna call him Dylan. I don't know why. That's the first thing that popped in my head. We need a name for the ex-best friend. Veronica. Ex-boyfriend's name is Dylan. Ex-bestie's name is Veronica. Everyone else starts like walking really fast in front of me and Dylan, kind of to like leave me and Dylan alone. So me and him just get to talking, flirting, and you know, I'm kind of surprised he didn't ask me out there, but I'm kind of happy he didn't, because then I would have to tell my parents that this man asked me out, and then I have to like lie about the whole story, like where he asked me out, you know? Anyways, this night slowly turned into a horrible core memory, because I got in so much trouble. My dumbass posted a picture of all of us on Instagram where I have my mom and my dad on there. I just like thought it wasn't gonna be that big of a deal. It was a big deal. My mom instantly figured out who the guy was and went to his Instagram and was super pissed off. Then when I got home, my mom took my phone, and me and this man had been texting back and forth for months, and she read like all of the text messages. I still don't appreciate that. After I get scolded, you know, now it's time for me and mommy to actually sit down and talk about this man, and I'm like, I really like him and blah blah blah. Then it was like chill after that. So my mom and dad were like, okay, well, we need to go out and have dinner with him. We weren't even dating yet, okay? So I had to tell this man, hey, my mom and dad want to meet you and go out to dinner. And it's kind of for my birthday as well. So we all go out. The most awkward dinner ever. Not like awkward like anybody was making it awkward. It was awkward because I was like 14 on a date with my mom and dad. Okay, that's why it was awkward. At the end of the night, when we drop him off, I walk him up and we're alone for a second. He gave me a necklace. And he was like, "Do
you want to be my girlfriend?"
I was like, "Yeah." And then we like awkwardly hugged and went our separate ways, and I got back in the car. Technically, you know, I was allowed to have a boyfriend, but I was not allowed to go on dates alone until I was 16 years old. So, and I just turned 14. The beginning of any relationship is very butterflies in the stomach, just holding hands makes you feel like you're on top of the world. It took us 6 months to get our first kiss. Our first kiss was the last day of freshman year. You guys will never believe what happened. My dad does not know this, so if he watches this video, sorry. I went to my locker with Dylan and I kind of knew like what was gonna happen. We have our first kiss, and it's first kisses are just weird. It wasn't a bad first kiss. It just was like weird because it's like kind of awkward. I get back to the car and I was a few minutes late. Like my dad was waiting for me in front of the school. My dad was like, "What were you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing, I was just getting my books from my locker." And he was like, and he showed me his phone and it was a call for me and I was calling him. It was like 6 minutes or something and I had been on the phone with him the whole time. And he was listening to it, of me having my first kiss. I don't think he knows that. I was mortified. I had no idea what he heard. I still don't. And you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. So yeah, I butt dialed my dad while having my first kiss. It's summer. I don't see him that much. I didn't drive through high school at all. You guys know I had like a crippling fear of driving. Finally got over that at the end of last year. One story that I can tell you is from one of the first times, if not the very first time I went to his house. And I'm pretty sure it was during summer and his mom was there, but you know, we still like made out in his room with the door wide open. When you first start making out, you make out for like hours. Sorry mom and dad if you're watching. Don't watch this video. What are you doing? Stop watching this video. Well, Karma's a bitch. We're making out. We're outside in his backyard. He like walks away for a second to go grab something. I am sitting there and I'm like, why does my lip feel so weird? It feels like I got stung in the face by a bee. Very swollen. I open up my phone, look at myself in the camera. Half of my top lip is like this gigantuous. If you didn't know, from making out too long, something can like rupture in your lips and get super swollen. So I'm like trying to suck in my lip. I am so embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to tell him. I don't want his mother to see. I don't want my parents to see when I have to go back home. I am freaking out. I got taken home later, still was just as bad. When I get home, both of my parents are at the dining room table. So I have to walk past them and they're gonna ask me like how it was. So I have to be like nonchalant. Be like, yeah, it was fine. It was fine, you know? I don't know how I didn't get caught up. Which I totally wouldn't have gotten in trouble. Like, they know teenagers are gonna make out. But in my head, it's like, I'm gonna get in trouble. Ended up going down like within the rest of the day. Speeding it along. I'm in 10th grade. In 10th grade, this is when me and Veronica stopped being friends. I don't know how she is now. She could be a totally cool, fun person. I'm talking about the person that I knew. She was the type of person that would kind of talk shit about everyone. Like if you went to our school, she talked shit about you. I was already kind of just annoyed of that. And also it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, hey, if she's, you know, talking shit about everyone, she's probably talking shit about me. She started becoming more of a bestie with another girl. After watching Tara Yummy's video, I got the Milk Makeup Sunshine Under Eye Tint Plus Brighten. Oh, looks like a little squid's eye. I don't know how like thick this stuff is. Ooh, can y'all see that? Slay. Me and Veronica, we're on the rocks. ex. And I kind of just didn't want to surround myself with a person like that. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm really bad at cutting people off. I mean, I'm good at it, I just don't do it in a good way. Like when I cut someone off, I just like stop talking to them. Used to. I like didn't communicate my feelings. Like I definitely should have went about it in a way better way. But I kind of just stopped talking to her. But she also did the same thing. It was kind of just a mutual like, yeah, we're not friends anymore. But the main reason why we were not friends anymore is because I was in computer science. I sat next to Dylan's best friend, aka Veronica's boyfriend at the time. Things were kind of off. Veronica's new bestie ditched class. Everyone used to ditch class and go to this computer science class because the teacher was like chill with it. And she pulled up her chair in between me and Veronica and like squished her way in. And I heard them talking about something. And I knew something was conspiring. I don't know if this is completely factual, but there was a rumor where Veronica was going to dump her man in front of the whole school. Absolutely not. Literally, what is that? Dylan's best friend was like a good guy too. Like he definitely didn't deserve that. The reason why she was breaking up with him is because he was going too slow. But what she didn't know is that he had planned that weekend to like kiss her for the first time and take her out on like a romantic date and stuff. But it was a surprise. Anyways, I was not talking to Veronica. Miss Veronica's friend is typing like on a Google Docs or like the notes app on the computer saying something to Veronica. I am sitting right there and I read it and it was like, what's wrong with her? And she was like, well, if she has a problem, she can say it to my face. I was sitting right there and I was like, I do have a problem. You're my problem. She didn't have anything else to say. So before lunch happened, I go to and I'm like, hey, she's going to break up with you in front of the whole school. By the way, the whole school already knew. They're walking up to each other. Everyone at the lunch tables is looking. And he goes, yeah, I think we need to break up before she breaks up with him. Sad to say that that wasn't the end of me and Veronica's friendship. We rekindled multiple times. But she's like one of those people in your life, like, you know when you like think you have that like twin flame? Like I always wish she was a nicer person because I feel like we could have been like best friends till the day we died. Like I feel like everybody has that best friend where you're like, why did you have to be like that? I kind of want to test this out still though, so we're just gonna do like a little bit. Not everything that I'm trying is new, but honestly, I don't even want to try a new powder because Laura Mercier, she's my bae. Technically this is new because I got a new one, but the Benefit 24-hour brow gel, and I'm gonna slick my brows up, get them looking a little fluffy. In the story, I like how I'm just telling this like from the beginning of time to now pretty much. Dylan and I had been together for like a year and a half or something like that, and it's when things started to get a little rocky. I'm not even gonna lie, I don't even remember why we broke up the first time. We broke up quite a few times, girl to girl. If you're with someone and you've broken up multiple times, I'm gonna be the person to tell you just cut it off. If you're constantly going back and forth with someone, breaking up and getting back together, it's toxic. You're not meant to be. That's just my personal opinion and what I have realized in life. Every single person that I have met that has been in that same situation is better off without that person in their lives. If you are in a position right now where you are getting back together with someone that you have broken up with in the past, try and bring your mind back to what it felt like when you broke up and what the reasons were for when you broke up before. Because I'm sorry to say, people do not change that quickly. If anything, it takes years to change certain habits, especially habits that cause breakups. Let me be your big sis and tell you it's time to cut it off if you are in that position. I promise you, you're gonna be fine. You're totally gonna be okay. Okay, I'm here for you. We broke up at the end of 10th grade. That summer was the worst time like in my life. This was my first ever breakup. He was pretty much like my first crush too. So, you know, that one really stings. That one really gets you. I remember I gained 30 pounds. I did indeed cry myself to sleep listening to every night. My mom was like, you need to get your together. Pick yourself up, girl. By the time I went back to school, I was fine. I was still on the surf team, though didn't think that one through. My school was the type of school where if your schedule was a certain way, it was really difficult to get it switched because your whole entire schedule would have to switch. And that was kind of like impossible because the classrooms were super filled, and it just like, they would pretty much tell you like, no, you have to deal with your schedule. Dylan would drive me back to school after surf. So I had no ride now. Me and Dylan start to talk again. We're chill, we're friends. You know, we're friends. We're doing everything that we did when we were in a relationship. He just didn't want to put a label on it. This is when young Kaylee begins to be super stupid and naive. But guess what? We all have to be there at one point. You learn from your mistakes. If a man or a woman, doesn't matter, says, I don't want to put a label on it, that means one of two things. They want to be in an open relationship, or they're talking to a bunch of other girls on the sidelines, but they also want to talk to you at the same time. And it's bad news. Now, if you're chill with that, then you're chill with that. I was not chill with that, but I also didn't know any better. So I was like, okay, it's okay, whatever to keep you. I literally did everything in my power to make this man like me. And I did not want to lose him again because, like I told you, I plan to marry. So I mentally planned out my entire life with this man. It's just something I do. I don't know why, it's just kind of like how it goes. Another red flag, I'm just gonna be throwing red flags in this video. If you bring up the topic of marriage in front of your partner and they like flinch or don't want to talk about it, instantly change the subject, I think that's a red flag. That's saying that you don't want to commit forever. And in my head, it's like, okay, then why are we even together? Like, I don't understand that. Green flag, me and my boyfriend talk about getting married literally every other day. Almost our 4-year anniversary, by the way. And he constantly makes jokes about getting on one knee and saying, will you marry me? And stuff like that. Also, we're not like getting married yet. We've talked about it because I want to be more financially stable before we get married, and I kind of want to have a house and stuff like that, like personal preference. But pretty much like in our minds, we're already married. Gonna be going in with this Patrick Ta bronzing duo. There's a cream and then there's this bronzer right here. We are still broken up at this point, but when I tell you we were like more together than we were when we were together. This is gonna get into some real TMI stuff because honestly, I've never talked about this kind of stuff on my channel. I'm a pretty transparent gal on here, so why not? One thing that I think is kind of important to point out is that I am Christian, and having a boyfriend, especially so young, was pretty difficult. I always felt guilty. You know, I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. I didn't want to do stuff, and I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of pressured into doing stuff, which, if you're watching this, especially if you're younger, if you feel it weighing on yourself to wait to do stuff, please just wait. And if someone is pressuring you into doing stuff, they can go suck a fat one. That's what I have to say to that. Teen boys are horny little bastards. I do think it's beneficial to kind of talk about it because, I don't know, I think it's a kind of unspoken thing that people don't really talk about. So at this point in time, I am 16. Me and Dylan are not together. We have done everything but the deed. You know, he was getting antsy. I wanted to do anything possible to keep him from leaving me because I was so heartbroken and I didn't want to feel that pain again. My mom would drop me off at my school at 7 a.m. School started at 8 a.m. My mom had to drive an hour to get to work, and that was literally the only time anybody could take me to school. My ex lived right next to the school, like walking distance. I would either walk to his house right when I got dropped off. I'd like wait for my mom to skirt away, or he would come and pick me up. And I mean, you can imagine 2 teenagers alone in an empty house. So the deed happened when we were not together. It wasn't necessarily bad. Everything happens for a reason. I wouldn't necessarily take it back, but afterwards, I felt so guilty. Probably happened a few other times, and I didn't want it to happen anymore. I don't think Dylan liked that too much. Well, me now, I can say I don't give an absolute fuck. But back then in my head, I'm like, oh, if I don't, like, he's gonna leave me. I feel like this is something that happened to a lot of women. Not saying that it can't happen to guys too, but from my experience, you know, I'm a woman. I just want to come on here. I know it kind of got serious, but I just want to tell you, like, do not pressure yourself into doing that. And don't let anybody pressure you into doing that, because if you're being pressured into it, it's not entirely consensual, okay? Because there's some manipulation going on there. I don't know, I just feel like this is like an important topic, and I feel like a lot of parents don't talk to children about this, and I feel like it really is a thing that teenagers usually have to figure out for themselves. I'll give up the TMI and I'll give up my stories if maybe somebody can learn from it. We do end up getting back together. We have our little honeymoon stage. We're super happy again. But those issues that we had before didn't just magically disappear. This man was, you know, no offense, I don't know him now. I don't know him now. This is the person that I knew. The most boring person I have ever met in my entire life. Literally like talking to a cardboard box. And I am kind of out there. I'm pretty freaking weird, okay? I need someone to match my energy. He did not do that. It was just the definition of a one-sided relationship. We just weren't right for each other. It wasn't completely on him. Like, I just think he didn't know how to cut it off, and I didn't want to because I had like my mind made up. Like, I definitely had toxic traits as well. Like, I definitely communicated horribly back then. I didn't know how to communicate, and it definitely just would have been for the best if we had broken up a lot sooner, but obviously that didn't happen. This is when the real issues start, and this is when it starts to get a little juicy because another girl comes into the story. I'm pretty sure this was already happening in 11th grade, but was mainly an issue in senior year. My school was really weird. Now, to give a little bit of context, we had two campuses. One of them was like the OG campus that's been there for a really long time. That was a lot bigger. And then there was an honored program called Magnet. And then there was a newer campus made just for those people. But they were so close together, so you could take a bus at nutrition or lunch to go to the other campus if you wanted to take classes over there. I really hope that makes sense. My ex had a class over there and he would leave at nutrition. Now, this is when me and my ex really started to, I think, turn into completely like different people. He started to get into drinking, and then he started getting into smoking weed. And this became a pretty consistent thing. One important thing that I might add is all throughout me dating this man, his friends hated me. They were really mean. And I think I was like a sometimes to them, but here's the thing, I was only a to them after they pretty much showed me that they really didn't like me. But man, I have no idea why they didn't like me. That really hurt me. Like, just to give an example, in surf class, they would make fun of me so much and call me names. I got so insecure that I didn't want to paddle out into waves anymore because I didn't want to be commented on. And then they were like, oh, look at that buoy floating out there, and I got made fun of for that. Dylan never ever once defended me. Ladies, if another man is making fun of you and it's not like a haha funny way, and your man does not defend you or tell them like, okay bro, like knock it off, no. But I think that's very important to kind of understand the atmosphere of this relationship. Obviously, all of Dylan's friends were at these parties. I was never once invited, so it wasn't like a thing where it's like,
oh no, don't invite her because it's gonna like make her anxious.
That wasn't like a known thing. They just didn't invite me because they like didn't want me there. So I was in a completely different friend group than Dylan. Never hung out with his friends. I got this Dior blush. Oh yeah. Dylan had another class at the other campus, and I started to notice there was always a girl around him, and I actually knew this girl. What are we gonna call her? We're gonna call her Leslie. We went to elementary school together. I'm about 99% sure. I know we went to middle school together. So I knew her before she knew Dylan. Now, me and this girl, like, were not friends. I had nothing against her at this time. I didn't really know her. Like, if I saw her in the halls, I would, like, smile at her, you know? But I didn't, like, know her. But I just started to notice that she was, you know, in his Snapchats. And I'm talking Snapchats where, like, she would, like, take his hat. Just stuff like that. This is going on for a while, and I don't really say anything. I want to be the cool girlfriend. You know, like, you can go to parties, babe, and not tell me about it ever and be out until like 2 a.m. and, you know, be shit-faced, and it's totally fine. Like, you don't need to tell me. Like, I'm just chill like that. No, babe, you don't need to tell me like when you're Snapchatting other girls more than me. Never strive to be the chill, cool girlfriend because you think that's like what your man wants. If a man wants that, I don't even know how to fully explain this one, but that is a red flag to me. If he doesn't love your crazy self, then he doesn't deserve you. This is literally the prettiest blush I have ever used in my entire life. I am like a hoe for this blush, you know, the cool toned. Okay, have I been using the wrong blush my entire life? So pretty. Women's intuition, girl radar, whatever you want to call it. She's up. I got a hunch. I got a feeling. And you know what? You know when someone likes your man, no matter what. I don't even know how to explain it myself. Like, you just know. Leslie was in Dylan's friend group. All of Dylan's friends loved her. Rightfully so. I was intimidated. I was scared. I instantly hated this girl. So I noticed one day that me and Dylan are no longer best friends on Snapchat. This sounds so funny to talk about this now. So I go to Dylan with this and I'm like, what's this? Guess who is his #1 friend on Snapchat? Of course it is. I was not the type of girl to steal a man's phone, but I did take a peek once to find out that Leslie was indeed his best friend. At least I was right.
Look, like, you don't have anything to worry about.
This girl, Leslie, she's pretty. I'm not gonna be one of those girls where
She's ugly as fuck. I'm prettier than her.
no, that's why I was intimidated. She is also pretty. This man has the audacity to tell me, to try and reassure me.
It's not like that. I don't have any feelings for her. I don't like her like that. I think she's ugly. I don't even think she's pretty.
That right there should have told me everything I needed to know. I should have dumped his ass right then and there, and I should have contacted her and told her what he said. But alas, I was young and dumb and very petty. Rumors begin. Just a normal day at school. It's in between a period, and I'm just standing with friends by the lockers waiting for my next class to start. A random ass person comes up to me. I have no idea who this person was. Like, you know, you don't know everybody at school. You see him around. Comes up to me and goes,
"Did you and Dylan break up?"
And I was like, no.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, wait, why?
I thought him and Leslie were together.
Do you know how embarrassing it is? Have a random ass person that you don't even know come up to you, assume that your man is dating somebody else. So now I know it's not just me. I am so done at this point. I tell him this, I go off, I'm like, okay, there has to be something going on. I get a DM from Leslie later that day.
Which also means Dylan went to Leslie with this information and told her what I said, which is also very odd when you're in a relationship. Like, you don't go to another girl. I'm so dumb.
To sum it up, she was like,
"Hey, I just want to let you know, like, there's nothing going on between me and Dylan.
really reassuring me.
We're just friends. I don't think about it that way."
This was more civil, like, okay, thanks for telling me. Nothing stopped. Like, they still were Snapchatting all the time, and they definitely still were being like super flirty. Like, it wasn't hard to tell, and I had a bunch of people also telling me all the time. Leslie's gonna take a seat for a minute because this story collides with another guy that I was talking to. It is coming up to the end of high school. Me and Dylan are not doing good. He is going to college far away. Obviously brings up the question, when you're in a relationship in high school, are we going to do long distance or are we gonna break it off? I do not want to take this man into life after high school. So I break up with him. We have like a week of school left until graduation. We go to my English class. I'm sitting there alone, I have headphones in. Dylan is in this class. We would usually sit together, but I just broke up with him. So he goes and sits alone and he puts his head down and he's like crying. The teacher comes up to me, gets down on her knees and is on my desk and looks at me and she's like, "So what's going on?" I broke up with him. And she patted me on the shoulder and she was like, "Honey, it's for the best." Slay. I love her so much. But I was stupid. And
Hell no, man. What the fuck?
Y'all, I'm embarrassed. You need to learn from my mistakes. The next few days, he texted me and he was like, hey, can we talk? He was like pestering me. I felt bad. And also, I was lonely. He picked me up, we went into a parking lot. The drive there was super freaking awkward. He starts bawling. And he is like in my arms crying. Pretty much begging me to like take him back. But the question still stands, okay, what are we gonna do after summer? His response was,
we'll figure it out when we get there.
but pretty much we knew we were going to break up at the end of summer. So we were just staying together for the summer, just to stay together. Just for like no reason. And I did think it was stupid, but I felt bad. I definitely, my whole life, have been that person to like be the yes man. I don't want to make people upset or uncomfortable, and I just want to make them happy. Definitely not that person anymore. No is my favorite word now. So we get back together. Not even good right after. Like, we graduate and we're happy that we graduated. A few days after we graduate, he informs me that his dad's parents, so his grandparents, are coming down from a different state. They were going to like a museum and they wanted me to go. Because, you know, I'm the girlfriend of almost 3 years, so they want to meet me. We go. They love me, of course, because I'm so awesome. No, but they did. They like actually like really liked me. And his mom, that's one thing that sucks, is like, I loved his mom. His dad, I'm literally convinced his dad like had another family somewhere. The biggest asshole ever, bro. His mom and dad were like the definition of the people who had like a baby by accident. I don't know if they're still together, but it honestly kind of just seemed like they were waiting until he was like 18 to get a divorce. Like, they didn't sleep in the same room. He would always comment and be mean to her. And this lady was like the sweetest lady. I felt so bad for her. She like always said like, I want to take you out to tea. He told me I was the daughter she never had and she wanted to take me out to go shopping. Sorry babe, but your asshole son ruined it for you. This trip to this museum and me visiting with his family went amazing. And then, you know, we're doing really good. We go into an empty parking lot and, you know, we have a good time in the car. And, you know, he drops me off home and I don't hear from him again. I'm not even joking. I think like 2 weeks went by or something, or maybe it was just a week, but like, that's weird. I think I may have sent like a Snapchat here and there, but this was a very like, he just like had no interest. And I'm like, okay, I kind of want to see where this goes. I want to see like how long he won't talk to me, you know? And at this point, I already broke up with him, so I'm like, if I have to do it again, I have to do it again. I see him in a Snapchat on someone else's Snapchat at this party, partying up and drinking and all this. I'm just done. I'm like, you and me, we're not on the same page. You know, you don't talk to me for a week after, you know, I hang out with your family that flew in and, you know, we have like a fun time in your car. I Snapchat him or text him, I don't remember. I don't want to be with you anymore, blah, blah. And then he just like flips it and then breaks up with me and is like, yeah, like pretty much agreeing, and then just like he breaks up with me. And I'm like, oh. But honestly good, because I'm happy that's the way it worked out now. Later that night, guess who was standing right next to him? We're gonna come back to them because I don't hear anything about them for a little bit. Broken up in the beginning of summer after I graduate. Actually wasn't that sad. Now, if you've ever gone through a relationship where you guys were toxic for a long time, you would understand that I was already emotionally detached. I had already broken up, like in my head, with him months ago. I had cried way too much over this man. This is during the time where I recently had hit 10K on TikTok, and this is when I started doing social media like full time. This was my TikTok hoe phase. I was talking to like 20 different TikTok dudes at once. I was just Snapchatting all of them. I don't even, who is she? I don't even know. I start flirting with this guy. I'm so bad at coming up with like names. Tyler, come up with a guy name.
The guy name?
Yeah.
Trevor?
That's good. We're gonna go with Trevor. This man lived 4 hours away from me. I was flirting online with him for a while. This was like the definition of a rebound. First time that I was talking to like another guy and flirting and, you know. Now looking back, I don't know what I was thinking. This man drove 4 hours to come and take me on a date. He left his house at like 4 a.m. in the morning. Now, you could be sitting there and being like, oh my god, that's so romantic. No, I'm sitting here thinking, that's like low-key kind of creepy and scary. I'm not gonna lie, I'm lucky that nothing bad happened. Thank God, if you get my vibe. We went on a date. It was like a really good date. It was flirty. We didn't kiss. I don't even want to give this man that much time in the story time because this man was just gross. But I will say, at one point, he got out of the car to take a phone call. You know what that means. Next day, I got the hey girly DM. Who was underage? And the things that I found out, she still follows me, so. Hey girl, if you're saying this. I found out some like horrible things that have to do with them, but it's not like my business to share that on the internet. This man was like talking to like 5 different girls and he like picked the one that was like closest to him. It was really weird. This is when stuff starts to get juicy.
I got this part of the story so confused and jumbled up, so I'm just gonna explain it on my phone really quick. I don't know if you guys remember what YOLO was, but it's pretty much like the questions thing that you can put on your Instagram story and people can ask you questions and you can answer them. But this one was totally anonymous. I knew that Trevor had gotten with a new girl. By the way, please just don't be this petty. This is literally so nasty and gross. Take this, okay? Because you're gonna freaking regret it, okay? Someone wrote something on there. I can't for the life of me remember exactly how this question or statement was worded, but it was like, did you see his downgrade? I thought that it was the girl that sent the hey girly DM to me about Trevor because we followed each other on stuff. I thought it was about Trevor. During this time, I had my ex and Leslie blocked. And when I cut someone off, I don't unblock them, like for my own mental sake, so I don't go crazy. I start to notice that all of these girls from high school are viewing the story, and they're all Leslie's friends. And I definitely was sent like in a group chat, and everyone thought it was about her when it was not. Doesn't it just get so much worse? So I'm like freaking out because I'm like, oh shit. Like I didn't mean it like that. Go to everyone's social medias to see if like anybody posted anything. What is on my ex's Instagram that he posted that day or like a few days before, I don't remember. A picture with Leslie saying it was like a 1-month anniversary or something like that. I had no idea. This would only happen to me. And I still can't believe that this happened like now. That is my luck. So then I get a DM from Leslie, but it's not from Leslie. It's from her friend because she was blocked, but it was Leslie typing. And she's just going off.
It is this long ass message. And it's pretty much just saying like,
Why are you talking about me? I am very content in my relationship with Dylan.
She brings up that I've been talking about her like a lot on my social media platform. And I remember I made one TikTok that could have been referencing her, but it definitely wasn't something where like everybody knew it was about her. Like nobody on TikTok knew anything about this because I never talked about it online. Maybe some people from school knew about it. So I messaged her back like, I never said your name on social media, like pretty much not about you. She ends it with insulting me that I have a 12-year-old fan base on TikTok and telling me that she's going to pray for me. But like I'll pray for you. And so I liked her comment and I didn't answer. Then the next day, I get a DM from Dylan. Now I could bet $1 million that this man did not write this DM. I was with him for 3 years. I don't think he could even put enough emotion into anything like this, if I'm being completely honest. It starts out by him asking,
why have you been posting about Leslie so much?
Because I may or may not have made a TikTok after I exchanged DMs with Leslie about someone making fun of me that I had a 12-year-old fan base.
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Am I the villain?
Nobody knew who I was talking about. I'm not proud of the pettiness. It is really stupid. Don't be petty. It's stupid. Yeah, so I think that's what he's referencing to. I don't know if you guys understand, like, I can tell that this was written by a girl. Like, this was not written by a man. Just completely lays it out, calling me names. Then he sends another message. I regret wasting 3 years of my life on you. That's when I was done. You wasted 3 years of your life on me? You didn't even try. People didn't even think we were dating. I instantly am like, get over yourself. And I straight up tell him like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I went off, and I tell him the regret of those 3 miserable years is very mutual. So he sends another text. This text was sent by him. And so this is mainly talking about me posting about her. And it's mainly about the downgrade Snapchat. Not saying it's still okay that it was about anybody else. I should have never like posted anything that insinuated anybody downgraded. That was very rude of me. But it wasn't about her. So that's why this thing is like so hilarious. It just, it just didn't need to happen. You know how there's a limit on DM, like how much you can send? I sent like 3 of those explaining to him. I started talking to someone right after you. This was about this situation. This wasn't even about you. I just want to add too that in these DMs that they were sending me, they kept saying like people kept sending them my videos. Like their own friends were texting them videos that they thought I was making about them when it wasn't even about them. Never once did I go out of my way to text them, hey, there's a bunch of troll ghost accounts like with the black profile picture in my DMs and my live streams spamming your guys' names and like talking shit. Like their friends were doing this to me and I never once told them about it. But I told him in this message about it. I'm like, you guys don't see me coming to you. Why are you coming to me and talking about this? Like, why aren't you telling your friends not to send them my posts when it's not even about you? He doesn't answer. I always tell my mom everything. So I read my mom like all these messages when all of this drama shit was happening. My mom and her friend were both like, oh, he's gonna contact you in like 2 years, try to hit you up again or like apologize or something like that. And I was like, no. 2020, I had just woken up. I was spending the night at Tyler's house to a DM from 3:57 a.m. in the morning.
I'm sorry to be DMing you at this time. I wanted to apologize for what I said to you over a year ago about our relationship. It wasn't true and I was mad and all that stuff I said I regret. I've been thinking about it ever since, but I didn't have the guts to apologize. It's okay if you don't accept my apology. I didn't expect you to, but I just wanted to offer you my apology. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just apologizing for my words and actions. I'm sorry again for bothering you. I won't DM you again.
Never in a million years did I expect that. Good on him, because it does take somewhat of a decent person to apologize for something that they said. And don't worry, I answered. I didn't like ghost him, but I was pretty dry about it because I'm like, I'm not gonna like be that nice to you because you treated me like shit for like 3 years. Hey, it's all good, don't worry. I've moved on from it and it's in the past. I appreciate the apology though, thank you. And that is the last time that I have ever talked to that man and will ever talk to in my entire life. There's a few other situationships, like there was this dude from Florida where I almost like flew out to go like on a date with him once. 2019 Kaylee, she was crazy. Just a little thing to add on top is I'm about 99% sure I got cheated on.
I got a text from one of my friends and it was a screenshot of Leslie's Instagram story, and this was posted on Dylan's birthday. But this Instagram story had a date on it. Like if you take a picture on Snapchat and you put the date on it, it'll say the actual day that the picture was taken. And this date was New Year's. On this specific New Year's, me and Dylan were together and they were very close in this picture, and just like a gut feeling tells me something happened. At some point, something had to have happened. Like, I'm not stupid, you know? Yeah, I know. See, he thinks so too. I definitely consider flirting and stuff when you're in a relationship cheating, so.
Now, this could also be false, but I'm about 99% sure that my source was correct, that Leslie broke up with Dylan and went back to her ex.
I am very content in my relationship with Dylan.
I think the most like comical thing out of all of it was that Dylan initially wanted to break up because he was going to college and didn't want to do long distance, but then did long distance with Leslie.
Huh?
Just say you didn't want to be with me. Like, I would have so much rather you just like were straight up with me.
This video is so long already, I'm gonna add in another quick little story that I just remembered about my prom. And I absolutely hated my prom because Dylan ruined it. I think we were together at this point. I don't really remember, but we went together. Like, we had the corsage and all of that. Took pictures with our families. Did Dylan post a picture of me and him together? No. He went and took a picture with Leslie. Like, they went together. I wish I could show you guys the picture. But I know you guys are sneaky and would probably Google image it even if I blurred their faces out. So trust me, like hand like on the waist. And then don't even get me started on Prom. He was literally mad at me because all of his friends did Molly and I didn't want him to do Molly because he had to drive us back home and we were in downtown LA. We had to drive like 30 minutes back home and I didn't know how to drive. And then my entire prom consisted of me crying, sitting by myself at the dinner tables because he left me to go dance with his friends instead of asking me to dance at all the entire night. And I was anxious and like my stomach hurt, and he was also like mad at me about that and just wanted to like drop me off super quick and not eat In-N-Out in the car with me so he could leave and go to a party. And my dumbass stayed with him after that. God.
All of the really shitty things that happen in life are honestly just there to teach you a lesson, so. Again, please do not go and try and find these people in real life. And to anybody referenced in this video, if any of you are somehow seeing this, all love, okay? We got no beef. We are all completely different people than we used to be. Let's be real, high school was like a million years ago. Guys, I'm never talking to again, but if any of the girlies I mentioned in this video, if you DM'd me, we would be chill. Like, trust. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I love watching people on the internet just talk about like random dramas that they've had in their life. It's really entertaining. And I've never talked about boy problems or like anything on my channel because I've been in like a healthy, loving relationship for 4 years, so I haven't really seen like the need to, but I thought it would be fun. I love you guys so much. Bye!
I don't know if you like the way I put my words together, but I need you to stick with me just like some birds of feathers, or like bricks and scales hand in hand.